Welcome to an incredible philosophical journey. You will uncover the timeless secrets of Stoicism and how you can transform the way you live today. No one embodied this transformation better than Epictetus. A man who, despite being born a slave, uncovered the secret to unshakable freedom of the mind. Let's go. The art of inner freedom, Epictetus and the power of mental liberation. Have you ever felt trapped by your own thoughts? Perhaps you found yourself replaying past mistakes over and over, or maybe you're constantly anxious about a future that hasn't even happened yet. Maybe you feel stuck in patterns of reaction, anger when someone cuts you off in traffic, despair when plans don't go your way, or overwhelming stress when facing uncertainty. What if I told you that thousands of years ago, a man who was literally enslaved discovered the secret to true freedom, a freedom that no external circumstance could ever take away? Today, we're diving into the profound wisdom of Epictetus, a philosopher who transformed from slave to one of history's most influential teachers of human liberation. His insights on Stoicism aren't just ancient philosophy, they're a revolutionary approach to mental freedom that can transform how you experience every moment of your life. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to distinguish between what you can and cannot control, how to break free from the tyranny of other people's opinions, and how to cultivate an unshakable inner peace that no external event can disturb. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn has the power to fundamentally change your relationship with stress, anxiety, and suffering itself. The fundamental dichotomy, what's up to us and what is not. Epictetus began his most famous work, the Enchiridion, with perhaps the most transformative idea in all of philosophy. He said, "Some things are within our power, while others are not." This simple statement contains the key to unlocking a life of unprecedented mental freedom. Think about your typical day. How much mental energy do you spend worrying about things completely outside your control? The weather, other people's decisions, global events, the past, or an uncertain future. Epictetus teaches us that this is where most of our suffering originates, in our futile attempts to control the uncontrollable. What is actually within our power? Our judgments, our choices, our responses, and our attitudes. That's it. Everything else, literally everything else, falls outside our sphere of control. This might sound limiting at first, but it's actually the most liberating realization you can have. Consider Marcus Aurelius, who despite being the most powerful man in the Roman Empire, understood that his true power lay not in commanding legions but in governing his own thoughts. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When we truly internalize this principle, we stop wasting precious mental energy on things we cannot influence. Instead, we direct all our attention and effort toward what we can actually control. This shift in focus is like suddenly discovering you've been trying to steer a car by yelling at the road instead of turning the wheel. Aristotle's concept of practical wisdom, or phronesis, aligns beautifully with this Stoic principle. He emphasized that true wisdom lies in knowing how to act in specific situations, which requires first understanding what is and isn't within our power to change. The psychological benefits of embracing this dichotomy are immediate and profound. When you stop trying to control other people's actions, the weather, or the outcome of events beyond your influence, you experience a deep sense of relief. The constant tension of fighting against reality dissolves, replaced by a calm focus on what you can actually do something about. This doesn't mean becoming passive or indifferent. Rather, it means channeling your energy where it can actually make a difference. It's the difference between pushing against a locked door and finding the key. Breaking free from the opinion of others. Epictetus understood something that most people never realize. We are not disturbed by things themselves, but by our opinions about those things. Nowhere is this more evident than in our relationship with other people's judgments and expectations. How many decisions in your life are driven not by what you actually want, but by what you think others will think? How often do you feel anxious, not because of any real danger, but because you're worried about disappointing someone or being judged? The Stoic approach to handling others' opinions is radical in its simplicity. Recognize that other people's thoughts about you are completely outside your control, and therefore, not your concern. What matters is not what they think, but how you choose to respond to your knowledge of their thoughts. Epictetus taught that seeking approval from others is a form of slavery. When our happiness depends on external validation, we become prisoners of other people's moods, preferences, and opinions. We hand over our peace of mind to people who may not even have our best interests at heart. This doesn't mean becoming callous or ignoring feedback. Rather, it means developing an internal locus of evaluation. Socrates exemplified this when he chose to drink the hemlock rather than compromise his principles, even when faced with the disapproval of his entire city. His commitment was to truth and virtue, not to popular opinion. Plato's allegory of the cave is particularly relevant here. Most people live like prisoners, mistaking the shadows of others' opinions for reality. Breaking free means turning toward the light of your own rational judgment and authentic values, even when others prefer you to remain in the comfortable darkness of conformity. The practice of indifference to others' opinions doesn't happen overnight. It requires consistent effort to catch yourself when you're making decisions based on what you think others want rather than what aligns with your values. Start small, wear something you like but others might find odd, express an unpopular but thoughtful opinion, or pursue an interest that others don't understand. As you practice this mental independence, you'll discover something remarkable. The people worth having in your life will respect you more, not less, for your authenticity. And those who reject you for being genuine were never truly on your side to begin with. The Inner Citadel. Cultivating unshakable inner peace. Epictetus spoke of the mind as an inner citadel, a fortress that, when properly defended, cannot be breached by any external force. This metaphor captures one of Stoicism's most powerful promises, the development of an inner peace so robust that it remains intact regardless of external circumstances. Building this inner citadel begins with understanding that our emotional responses are not automatic reactions to events, but choices we make based on our interpretations of those events. When someone insults you, it's not the insult that causes your anger, it's your judgment that the insult is harmful to you. This insight is revolutionary because it places the power of emotional regulation squarely in your hands. You are not a victim of your circumstances, you are the architect of your inner experience. Viktor Frankl, who survived the Nazi concentration camps, later wrote that even in the most extreme circumstances, we retain the freedom to choose our attitude. The Stoic practice of examining our judgments involves asking ourselves, is my interpretation of this event serving me? Is it based on facts or assumptions? What would a wise person think about this situation? This kind of cognitive examination helps us respond from a place of wisdom rather than react from a place of emotion. Marcus Aurelius regularly practiced this mental discipline, as evidenced in his personal journal, known to us as Meditations. He would remind himself that external events are neutral, it's our judgments that make them seem good or bad. A business failure is just an event, it becomes a disaster only if we judge it as such. The development of this inner fortress also involves regular practice of what Stoics call the discipline of desire. This means training ourselves to want what happens, rather than demanding that what we want should happen. It's a profound shift from fighting reality to flowing with it intelligently. This doesn't mean passive acceptance of injustice or abandoning our goals. Rather, it means pursuing our objectives with full effort while remaining emotionally detached from outcomes we cannot guarantee. It's like an archer who aims carefully and shoots with skill, but doesn't curse the wind if it affects the arrow's flight. The psychological research on resilience confirms what the Stoics understood intuitively: people who maintain an internal locus of control, who focus on their responses rather than their circumstances, show remarkable ability to bounce back from adversity and maintain their well-being even in challenging situations. The practice of negative visualization. One of the most counterintuitive yet powerful Stoic practices is negative visualization, imagining the loss of things we value. Epictetus encouraged his students to regularly contemplate the impermanence of their possessions, relationships, and even their own lives, not to become morbid, but to cultivate gratitude and emotional resilience. Modern psychology has validated this ancient practice through research on hedonic adaptation, our tendency to take good things for granted once we become accustomed to them. By periodically imagining their absence, we restore our appreciation for what we have and reduce the shock if loss actually occurs. Think about your morning coffee ritual. If you approach it mechanically, it becomes invisible, just another part of your routine. But if you occasionally imagine starting your day without this simple pleasure, you might find yourself savoring that first sip with renewed appreciation. This practice extends far beyond material possessions. Epictetus suggested imagining saying goodbye to loved ones each time we part from them, not to create anxiety, but to ensure we don't take these relationships for granted. When we truly appreciate the temporary nature of all things, we naturally treat them with more care and attention. Seneca wrote extensively about this practice, calling it premeditatio malorum. He would regularly spend time imagining various misfortunes, not to worry about them, but to mentally prepare for life's inevitable changes and to appreciate his current blessings more fully. The key to effective negative visualization is maintaining the right mindset. This isn't about dwelling on worst-case scenarios or creating anxiety about the future. Rather, it's about developing a healthy relationship with impermanence and building emotional resilience for when change inevitably comes. Modern mindfulness practices echo this ancient wisdom. When we meditate on the temporary nature of all phenomena, we naturally become less attached to specific outcomes and more accepting of life's constant flow of change. The discipline of action, how to act in accordance with nature. Epictetus taught that humans are naturally social beings designed to work together for the common good. This means that true fulfillment comes not from pursuing selfish desires, but from contributing to something larger than ourselves. The Stoic concept of living according to nature means recognizing our role as rational, social creatures and acting accordingly. This principle transforms how we approach our daily actions. Instead of asking, "What's in it for me?" we learn to ask, "How can this contribute to the common good?" This shift in perspective doesn't require self-sacrifice, rather, it recognizes that our own well-being is intimately connected to the well-being of others. Aristotle's concept of eudaimonia, often translated as happiness or flourishing, aligns with this Stoic principle. He argued that true happiness comes not from pleasure-seeking but from virtuous action. From fulfilling our potential as rational, ethical beings. The discipline of action involves several key practices. First, we learn to act with intention rather than merely reacting to circumstances. Before taking any significant action, we pause to consider, does this align with my values? Will this contribute positively to the world? Am I acting from wisdom or from emotion? Second, we practice what Stoics call the reserve clause, making our best effort while acknowledging that outcomes depend on factors beyond our control. We might say, "I will prepare thoroughly for this presentation, fate permitting," or "I will treat others with kindness, circumstances allowing." This mental habit keeps us focused on our effort rather than becoming attached to specific results. Third, we cultivate what modern psychology calls a growth mindset, viewing challenges as opportunities to develop virtue rather than threats to our ego. When faced with difficult situations, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we ask, "How can I use this situation to practice courage, wisdom, justice, or temperance?" The Stoic approach to action is fundamentally optimistic because it focuses on what we can control, our choices, efforts, and responses. This creates a sense of agency and empowerment that no external circumstance can diminish. Morning reflection and evening review, the daily Stoic practice. Epictetus emphasized the importance of daily philosophical practice, particularly morning reflection and evening review. These bookend practices help us start each day with intention and end each day with wisdom gained from experience. The morning reflection involves setting our philosophical intentions for the day ahead. We might ask ourselves, what challenges am I likely to face today? How can I practice virtue in these situations? What would wisdom look like in my interactions with others? This preparation helps us approach the day proactively rather than merely reacting to whatever happens. Seneca practiced a similar morning routine, writing, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." He would use the early hours to contemplate his priorities and align his actions with his values. This practice of intentional beginning sets the tone for a day lived with purpose rather than spent in mere reaction. The evening review involves examining our thoughts, actions, and reactions from the day that's ending. Seneca wrote extensively about this practice, noting that, when the light has been removed and my wife has fallen silent, I examine the whole day and go through what I've done and said, hiding nothing from myself, passing nothing by. This isn't about self-criticism or dwelling on mistakes. Rather, it's about learning from experience and identifying areas for growth. We might ask, when did I act wisely today? When did I react from emotion rather than reason? What can I learn from today's experiences? How can I improve tomorrow? Marcus Aurelius' Meditations provides us with a window into this practice. His personal reflections show a man constantly working to align his actions with his philosophical principles, celebrating progress while honestly acknowledging areas for improvement. The psychological benefits of these daily practices are significant. They help us maintain awareness of our values and goals, process our experiences constructively, and approach life with greater intentionality. Regular reflection prevents us from sleepwalking through life and ensures that we're actively growing in wisdom and virtue. Modern research on journaling and reflection confirms what the Stoics understood intuitively. People who regularly examine their thoughts and behaviors show improved emotional regulation, better decision-making, and greater life satisfaction. The view from above, cosmic perspective as liberation. One of the most profound Stoic exercises is what Marcus Aurelius called the view from above. Imagining our current concerns from the perspective of vast time and space. This practice helps us maintain perspective on our problems and reduces their emotional impact. When you're stuck in traffic, stressed about a deadline, or worried about a social interaction, try imagining how this moment will seem from the perspective of next week, next year, or next century. This isn't about minimizing legitimate concerns, but rather about maintaining proportion and preventing minor issues from consuming our peace of mind. Epictetus often reminded his students that we are tiny parts of a vast, rational universe. This cosmic perspective can be humbling, but it's also deeply liberating. Many of the things that cause us stress are simply not as significant as they seem when we're caught up in them. Carl Sagan captured this sentiment beautifully in his reflections on the pale blue dot photograph of Earth taken from space. He said, "Our posturings, our imagined self-importance, the delusion that we have some privileged position in the universe, are challenged by this point of pale light." This cosmic perspective doesn't make us indifferent to our responsibilities or relationships. Rather, it helps us focus on what truly matters while letting go of petty concerns and ego-driven anxieties. It's like adjusting the lens on a camera. Suddenly, the important elements come into clear focus while the background noise fades away. The practice of cosmic perspective also connects us to something larger than ourselves. When we recognize our place in the vast web of existence, we naturally develop humility and a sense of interconnectedness with all life. This perspective fosters compassion and reduces the self-centered thinking that causes so much psychological suffering. Living as a citizen of the world. Epictetus taught that wise people see themselves not merely as citizens of their particular city or nation, but as citizens of the world, cosmopolites in Greek. This cosmopolitan perspective transforms how we relate to others and approach global challenges. When we expand our identity beyond narrow tribal boundaries, we naturally develop greater empathy and concern for all human beings. The problems of distant peoples become our problems, their flourishing becomes connected to our own. This isn't abstract idealism, it's practical wisdom about our interconnected world. The Stoic concept of world citizenship doesn't require us to abandon our local responsibilities or cultural identities. Rather, it asks us to hold these particular loyalties within a broader framework of universal human concern. We can love our families while caring about all families. We can serve our communities while working for global justice. Modern challenges like climate change, pandemics, and economic inequality demonstrate the wisdom of this ancient teaching. These issues cannot be solved by isolated communities or nations. They require the kind of cooperative, cosmopolitan thinking that Epictetus advocated. The practice of world citizenship begins with small daily choices. How do we treat strangers? Do we consider the global impact of our consumption? Are we willing to inconvenience ourselves for the benefit of people we'll never meet? These micro-practices gradually expand our circle of moral concern. As we conclude our exploration of Epictetus and the art of inner freedom, it's clear that these ancient insights offer more than historical curiosity. They provide a practical roadmap for living with greater peace, purpose, and resilience in our modern world. The Stoic path doesn't promise a life without challenges or disappointments. Instead, it offers something far more valuable: the tools to remain free regardless of external circumstances. It teaches us to find our strength not in controlling the world around us, but in mastering the world within us. Epictetus' journey from slavery to philosophical freedom reminds us that external circumstances need not determine our inner state. His teachings show us that true liberation comes not from changing our situations, but from transforming our relationship to our situations. The principles we've explored today. The fundamental dichotomy, freedom from others' opinions, the inner citadel, negative visualization, disciplined action, daily practice, cosmic perspective, and world citizenship, form a comprehensive approach to mental freedom that remains as relevant today as it was 2,000 years ago. As you integrate these ideas into your daily life, remember that philosophy is not merely an intellectual exercise but a way of living. Start small, be patient with yourself, and focus on progress rather than perfection. Each moment of awareness, each choice to respond rather than react, each decision to focus on what you can control, these small practices accumulate into a transformed life. The path to inner freedom begins with a single step, but it leads to a destination that no external force can ever take away from you. In a world that often feels chaotic and beyond our control, this ancient wisdom offers us something precious. The unshakable peace that comes from knowing exactly where our true power lies.